Hey, ¿qué pasa, Calexico? Welcome back to the podcast. Today's Wednesday, and we're a day away from Thanksgiving. And this weekend, when I interviewed Mario from the Consul, I was being nosy, and I saw a bunch of bikers come in to the Calexico neighborhood house. And I saw that they were bringing in a bunch of turkeys. So like I said, I was being nosy, and I stopped by and asked what was going on. And I found out that this group of bikers, do they have
They basically, I think they call themselves as the Yuma Imperial County Hogs.
Oh, okay. And so they come into...
It's a combination of different clubs.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I see. Mm-hmm. So they brought in a bunch of turkeys, and I found out that they donated to the Calexico neighborhood house, and they're going to cook them tomorrow for, our communities less fortunate. And today I'm here with Mr. Ortega. He's the director here at Calexico Neighborhood House.
I'm actually the special projects director.
Special projects director, okay. Yeah. Basically, I started my podcast by having my guests tell us a little bit about themselves. So if you want to, I know you've been here for a long time here at the...
Yes, yeah. I've been here probably from 1998. Mm-hmm. And then about a year and a half ago, I basically asked the board to begin to transition into another director, executive director, which they named Cindy Alba to do that. And I became the special projects, which is something I really enjoy. Okay. It's because it's like events like the Thanksgiving events like the toy distribution, the festivals. There's a lot of interaction with the clients, which is great. I think that's really, most people get their most satisfaction when they're actually in front of that other person that they're giving the help.
Yeah. So you're basically like the Ellen of Calexico. You know how Ellen donates a lot of... Do you ever watch the Ellen show?
No, I don't.
She brings a lot of people who are in need, and she donates stuff to them. But yeah, so you're a Calexico resident. You've been a Calexico resident all your life? Or?
Yes, I've been here since I was 1 year old.
Oh, wow.
1949.
Wow. So you've seen a lot of Calexico and its phases and its changes.
Oh, yes. When I was growing up, we were living there on the Second Street Housing Authority projects right next to the fence, if you will. So that area kind of has stayed the same in some way. Center Calexico has always been a Center Calexico. But what you have seen is then everything developed, first of all, to the west side, across the track. Across the track, we used to call the Garra. Mm-hmm. And so that now developed into some new housing, and we saw that develop. Then after that became the north side of Calexico past 98, which is Las Flores area. And then in 1973, the CCAC, they were the ones that developed all of the Kennedy Gardens. They came in and they actually built, all of those are prefab. It's about 200 homes for low-income families. And that was great. That was in the early 70s. So that's what they call the Kennedy Garden area. Yeah. And then after that came the west side, what they call the Lewis Homes, which was from Andrade East. Okay. Andrade East, those goes the Lewis Homes is because that was the name of the contractor, Lewis Homes. But all around us, there were fields, cotton fields, palms and everything else like that. If you know where Due School is at, there were palm trees all the way up to Beach. Or Dew Avenue. It was really like a lot of cotton, a lot of different type of vegetables all the way around it.
Yeah, because I remember, because I got here in 1990, I think. And we're KG's, because I grew up in Las Pichoneras.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So, where KG's is, and then you go and get Zapata.
Yeah.
There was nothing there. It was just dirt.
Correct.
I remember, there was just like the end of the road, and there was like some wood planks. And then there was dirt.
That's right. The Cole Road was like, wow, out of the country. Cole Road, that was like, because I remember I like to run. I would get in there from the 98 and Andrade, and I would start my run there all the way from there to Cole Road and back. Mm-hmm. And there were fields. There were just fields of different kind of crops type of stuff.
Yeah.
So it kind of has changed.
Yeah, you've seen a lot of change then.
Yeah.
So coming back to one of the reasons why we're here, you've been, like we said, you've been here at the neighborhood house for a long time.
Yeah.
And we're having this event tomorrow, but can you tell us a little bit more of the services you guys provide for?
Sure.
And who are they focused towards?
Okay, the main focus has always been women and children. And that really has been a historical focus for the neighborhood house. Actually, the story that I tell is that we were 6 in our family. And, we lived at housing authority projects, and my mom would come, and since we were 3 or 4 year olds, it would just kind of drag us along. And she would come, and they would have, right there in front, they would have yard sales, clothings. And she would come to, get clothing and buy some clothing for us. Because it was, not too much money. We didn't have too much money. Mm-hmm. So ever since I was 3 years old, my family was a recipient of the services that they had. I remember they also had Christmas projects for children. Mm-hmm. And I very, very clearly remember that they gave me a little red rubber ball. And I was the most happiest little 3-year-old going down the sidewalk and bouncing that little red rubber ball type of thing. So it's been historical.
Yeah, so historical. You've been part of...
Yeah, recipient, but basically my family has been a recipient of the services. And I came back from the service in 1973. And I actually, at that time, I began to volunteer here at Neighborhood House. I was teaching black and white photography for the kids. They loved it because we lend them a little camera, little blocks, black and white, and we set up a little dark room, and they really loved taking pictures of each other. So that's basically how I started, just doing volunteer work. And from there, Reverend Newby, which was the director, said, "Hey, how'd you like to work part-time?" I said, "Okay." And then from there, just kind of kept going and just get more and more involved. But it was really, that's basically been historical.
Yeah, for you.
Yeah.
So you say it's the main focus for the services is for
women and children. Right.
And you guys still do the yard sales? Yes,
we do. Essentially, what we did is that we have the thrift shop. We have a thrift shop up in El Centro. Because there's a lot of regulations in terms you can't have too many yard sales because of the city. But we were able to it's an old warehouse on 3rd Street and State in El Centro. And it gets really cold at night. During the winter, it's really hot. But it's because it doesn't have any air conditioning. But that's where we have the clothing now. And it's 25 cents a piece. Okay. And so a lot of ladies go there now, and we are only open Wednesdays and Fridays because it's managed by a volunteer. Okay. The volunteers that go there. We're open Wednesdays from 8 to 12 and Saturdays from 8 to 12. And I go Saturdays and I join in and volunteer my time there, which it's a lot of fun. Yeah, it is a lot of fun. And about a year ago, we actually started a diaper program. It's for low-income moms that need to get diapers at a low cost. Mm-hmm. We probably sell the cost per diaper is around 10 cents each type of thing, 10 cents, 11 cents, and that type of thing. But they have to give us what they call a passport of service. Basically what that is that you're getting some kind of, assistance. And so we know that 3 things. 1, that they have children, a certain age. 2 is that they're low income, and 3 is that they're residents of Imperial County. We just with that one document, that kind of fulfills it.
Even though it's Calexico Neighborhood House, can people from other communities
come? Oh yes, yeah, very much so, very much so. Most of the services are also many times countywide. I'll give you a good example. We have the early literacy program. We go out to the homes throughout the whole county, Brawley, Holtville, El Centro, and we do trainings with the parents so that the parents become what they call the first educator, the first teacher, which they are, but that just gives them more skills. How kind of book, how can you read, what type of reading, to set time, like I have a schedule for the child, to have a little, like a little library for them. And they go through 6 sessions, and we do that also free of charge. Uh-huh. But we service about 183 kids every year in terms of provide that service, but it's throughout all the county. We go to Brawley, El Centro, throughout everything else.
And where do you guys get your funds for?
Yeah, for a different thing. We always are looking for funds. Always. It's part of the nature of the nonprofits.
Nonprofit, yeah.
Yeah, and I'll give you an example. The ones for the early literacy, it's funded by First Five, Imperial County First Five, which concentrates on services for 0 to 5-year-olds. So they've really been really wonderful to fund that project, early literacy project, for the last 5 years. The one for the micro, we also have a micro project. It's trying to develop home-based businesses, because it's very hard for low-income persons to say, I'm going to rent a restaurant, or I'm going to rent an office. I mean, the amount of money to succeed is a lot. They don't have it. But they can say, well, I can cook tortillas in my house and sell them. Okay, it doesn't take too much. So what we do is we help them with a business license. We pay for the business license for whatever city they're at. At Brawley, Holtville, Calexico, we pay for their business license. We help them to get their health department permit. They have to have a permit. And we help them to get their food handler's permit. With those three, they're ready to go. And then they continue to do that. And that's throughout the whole county. For that, the Wells Fargo Foundation has been wonderful. Really great. They've all been really supported, because it involves people that want to develop their micro businesses. They really support that a lot. And it also involves women. 80%, 90% of the clients in that area are women. Of course, the one that we got a big boost was it's called the Imperial Irrigation Local Entity Funds. And they were really helpful in giving it a big push. Type of IID. So it's kudos to IID, and thank you.
Yeah, a lot of people like to, talk bad about the IID, because they're like a big corporation, a big monster.
It's humongous.
Right? But no, I feel like they do give back to the community in some way.
Yes.
So the main goal, like for people that are in the or come get services here, is like for the micro. It's just for them to kind of get on their feet and hopefully.
Yes, the whole concept of self-determination is big. Even though we provide, for example, we have 2 shelters for homeless women and children. We provide that because they're in a crisis situation. Okay, we need to help, immediately. But then also begin to say, okay, what else? What would you like to do for you to become more self-sufficient? Poquito a poquito, little by little. It isn't like, hey, you have to, do this or you have to do that. But maybe somebody may come here and says, I'm hungry. Okay, here's an emergency food. Or I'm in a domestic violence situation. I need a place to be safe for my children. Okay, here it is, type of like a safe haven. Yeah. And so it's kind of immediate help. And then at the same time, kind of begin to form a relationship with them, help them a little bit as they go along. The good thing about it is that we see them later years and they remember. And they remember the type of situation they were in and the help that they got. And they're very thankful. Yeah. They're really thankful.
Yeah, and I'm sure that sometimes they'll be willing to help, whether it's volunteering or donating.
Yes. Yeah, you can say, for example, we asked people, there was a lady that came in with her child, a little girl, about 10 years old. And we always ask them, how did you get here? Oh, I got homeless, some situation with their home. I was sleeping at the Jack in the Box here on Imperial Avenue. And they told me to come here. Now, the community itself makes the referral. They see people they need, hey, go over there and they will help you. Yeah. And so that network of community people, they know neighborhood house. Yeah. And they say, okay, go over there, and they will help you.
Yeah, because I've always heard about the neighborhood house, but I've never really. I think one year, I don't know if it was through you guys, but I helped out deliver food to the elderly.
Oh yeah.
I think are you guys part of that group?
Yes, we do that. The reason that we're able to do it sometimes, there are some companies that call us, especially around this time, and they say, do you have any families that need, say for example, a Thanksgiving food basket? And so they sometimes deliver it themselves. Like one time the Lions did that. The Rotaries have done that. And there have been other agencies because they know that we know who the people are.
Yeah.
So they kind of work with us. And then sometimes they give us the money to buy it and we deliver it. Type of stuff. But that's one thing that my son and my family always do during Christmas time. We always, we go and we buy the food baskets and we take it as a family, if you will.
Yeah.
And it really is good to do that.
Yeah, yeah. I remember that one year I helped out. It was really, there's a lot of gratitude from the people that, that.
Oh, yeah.
Because a lot of for instance, when I did it, it was, elderly that can't drive or can't get out much because they're ill or they're having problems walking. So, they're really grateful in the sense of, somebody's thinking of them and bringing them, a plate of food.
Yeah, another example is this. I was at the Jack in the Box today. I go over there, fast food for lunch type of thing. And there was a senior, his name is Capi. And he was talking about tomorrow's event, Thanksgiving event at the community center. And he was saying, I really have a hard time getting there because of my knees. It's really difficult for me to walk and to get out. So what we did is what's your address? Oh, I live over here by Sherman. And we made arrangements to go pick him up. And he was the happiest, camper. Okay, great.
Yeah.
I'll make. What's your telephone number? He said. I want to make sure I have it in case you forget. Yeah, but we'll be there. His name was Capi.
Capi.
That's his nickname.
So going back to you said especially in these times, it's going to be Thanksgiving tomorrow.
Right.
We have Christmas coming up, and a lot of people, for some reason or another, don't have the funds to prepare a meal for their families. You guys are having an event tomorrow. It's from 10 to 12,
right,
at the community center. And who's invited to this?
There are actually three people, if you want to call it 3 groups. The one is that basically we go out and we give the invitations to all the homeless persons out on the streets and also in the shelters. There's a large men's shelter in Encinas, and then of course our shelter for women. So we make sure that they're invited to go. That's one group. The other group are seniors. We go to every apartment project in Calexico and we give them invitations to go. Because many times they're by themselves. And it's a time when it's the holidays and they remember when they were with their family. Yeah. And they really don't want to be alone. It's a little bit depressing. So they go there as a community. They eat it with a community type of thing. And they feel good about doing that, which is really great. And then the other one, of course, is people who just don't want to be alone. They might be a person like you, but there's no one else here. And it's hard just to have your own turkey eating it at your house by yourself or at a restaurant, You just want to be with a community, if you will, just a kind of a sense of community. So that's basically the groups. And there's usually about 600 people that go. Of course, there's about, como le llaman, tandas. There's the first one, wave, that goes in. Then there's the middle one, and then there's the last one. Because the community center only seats, I think, is about 250. So it has to be like tres tandas, three different goes in and goes out type of thing.
So do you want to tell us a little bit about the group that donated the turkeys or if there's any, I know the group of bikers donated, but is there anybody else who came by or that?
Well, the other groups that they donate the hogs. There's a motorcycle club from Imperial County and Yuma. They bring in, I think it was 45 turkeys. Wow. And then throughout, once they come in Saturday. They always come in on Saturday before Thanksgiving. Then after that, starting Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, then we have volunteers. They're cooking all day, 8 hours here in the kitchen, because it has to be a certified kitchen. Okay. It has to be, you have to follow health department's regulations. So we have a certified kitchen, and they come in and they cook it. Not only cook it, and there's another group that come in that's called Deshebrar. basically, kind
Shred the
of
meat.
shredding. Yeah, exactly. Couldn't find the right word. They've been shredded so that they're in trays. That's that group that comes in. And then on Thursday morning at 5 o'clock, there's a third group that comes in and begins to do all the other trimmings. So there's another cooking group comes at 5 in the morning tomorrow. They start cooking. And there's the other volunteers that set up around 7 in the morning. And then another group that begins to serve. The one that is, the last group is the cleanup group. And that's the one that starts cleaning up all the kitchen and that type of thing. Yeah. And that's a good group too. There was a pair of senior citizens, not senior citizens, around 40 years old. They always want to be at the kitchen and cleaning up. And I think several years ago, Cindy who was in charge of the event, as they were leaving, she said to them, Happy Thanksgiving. And they turned around and he says, we already had it. I mean, that was wow.
Yeah.
That was really kind of put chills in your head. Because they were saying they already had a good Thanksgiving in terms of doing for others.
Yeah. You do feel, it humbles you to see, all these people that don't have somebody to eat with, like you said, or just a plate of food to eat on that special day, because it's
right.
In our community it's something that's celebrated. We try to celebrate it, and at the same time try to remember all the things we're thankful for, and I'm sure that all these people that you guys are serving are extremely thankful for you.
Oh yeah, they're really, it's a wonderful feeling. It's a wonderful spirit. Yeah. What's really great, if you see their pictures, we have a group pictures of volunteers. About 90% of them are youth. They're kids, teenagers. And they really, really, enjoy themselves and giving of themselves. They learn. And some of them keep coming back. They keep coming back. They want to do it. They want to do it again.
Speaking of volunteers, are you guys in need of any people that might want to stop by and help out tomorrow? Or
well, we have the volunteers. What we do is we make sure we have what they call a volunteer orientation, which happened yesterday.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, we're kind of always trying to be as organized as we can. So we get the volunteer orientation. So we then, like those groups, like the morning cooking group, the setup group, serving group, the kitchen groups, everybody. And then we have another group that goes out and delivers for the shut-ins. We have a listing, we have three or four vehicles that go out, and they take them out, and that's all they're in charge of doing that. So it's a pretty good, there's a lot of volunteers that come in, but it's I think not only the people that go for the meal, but but also the volunteers receive.
Yeah.
You always think about volunteers giving, but they also receive that satisfaction. Yeah. And it's a good feeling.
And anybody in the community that helped out in terms of transportation, picking people up, or is it all done by you guys?
We mostly do it, but most of the time we take them the meal.
Oh, okay.
Because sometimes they're they're homebound, couldn't get out. So we just make sure we take them meal to their house type of thing. Mm-hmm. I think there's about, like I said, 3 or 4 vehicles. They go out and they do that, but it's pretty cool.
So I know that this is probably not gonna be the first time that we sit down and talk, because I know you guys are having probably a Christmas event and all these events that you guys have. I want to come back and talk to you guys.
Yes.
But I know you guys are busy right now in terms of
getting ready for tomorrow.
Yeah. So I don't want to take a lot of your time today, but I just want to make sure that I let you guys know that if there's any other event in the future that you want me to come by and talk to about,
There's one event which is really great this year. We're working with the city of Calexico for the Christmas parade. So that we're working, and which is really great. Before we would just do the festival. The festival is the things that happen at Rockwood Park after the parade. And we were just doing it by ourselves. But the city invited us to work together so that it's a whole Christmas festival, if you will. And it's really great. So the people, December the 8th, there's the fantastic parade for Calexico. And then after that, it's the festival there at the Rockwood Plaza, Rockwood Park. And there's going to be, for example, there's going to be a competition of the drum line. And then also some, different bands are playing from different high schools. and there's going to be about 21 different food booths over, tamales, champurrado, buñuelos, all of those things, tacos. So just, feel free to go out there. It's a good community Christmas event.
I remember as a kid, we were talking about the CYBL.
Yeah.
When my dad had the basketball team, the Blazers from the Pichoneras.
Yeah.
We were part of the parade a couple of years where, we had our own float and you would be in the parade. And, it brings back a lot of memories of,
fun.
the childhood here in Calexico. Like I said, I don't want to take more of your time. Thank you for giving me this time because I know you're super busy. And thank you for helping out our less fortunate here in the community. And like I said, hope to see you again on my podcast in the future.
Thank you, Jose. Anytime, just call me and we're welcome. And it's great and I'm really happy to watch what you're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jose.
Alrighty. All right, guys. Peace.